All right, welcome back, everyone. First podcast of 2024, MMAOB Daily Podcast, Monday, January 8th, 2024. I'm your host, as always, Adam Martin, joined by my co-host here, Mr. Big Marcel. I got to fix my shirt. I just realized the collar was all fucked up there. Not a great way to start the year off. How you doing, Marcel? You look good, man. You wearing a sweater or something? What's going on here? You usually wear a t-shirt.
Yeah, but I have it under here, but it's a little bit colder over here right now. So, it's I don't have anything like heat on or something. So
does it snow there or no? Like where you live?
It's a little bit snowy today, but it's not really a lot of snow. So it's okay, you know. I'm not that quickly cold because I'm fat, you know. But I mean, it's a little bit colder than normally.
Yeah, you have like blubber insulation, right?
So, yeah, we have like I have like how do you say that? The extra jacket. You know what I mean? I have an extra jacket.
Yeah, I know what you mean. All right, let's get some comments. We got True in the chat. What's up, brother? Antoine, what's up, man? How's it going? I hope you had a good New Year's too. What's up? Joe, what's up, man? Yeah, we'll do a fight announcement podcast after this because there's a lot of fight announcements. I mean, I want to talk about the Armin fight. I want to talk about the BSD fight. But let's save it for the next podcast.
We told you guys, Armin against Charles.
You did. You called that. And I'll say this. As soon as Benoit knocked out Matt Frevola, I was on Twitter. I was like, I want to fight Poirier next. So
I'm surprised Poirier.
I called that fucking fight, man. Yeah. Me too. It's a dangerous fight, right? With not a lot of – there's no upside. Maybe they just paid him a lot of money or they just said, fucking you take this fight. So – because he's – again, remember I said, I'm like, he's in a weird spot now. He doesn't have a dance partner. The only fight that would have made sense was Nate Diaz, and Nate is not on the UFC roster, right? So – let's get some other comments here. We got Ray in the chat. We got John in the chat. We got Chris in the chat. A lot of guys in the chat, man. Glad to have all you guys here. 4 inches to 8 inches. What are you referring to here, brother? No, I'm just joking. It snowed a little bit here too in Toronto. Not that much this year. Last year was way worse. I remember exactly like a year ago. It was like fucking, a foot of snow outside. But right now it's not too bad actually. We got Zach in the chat. Zach, how's it going, man? Hope all's well with you, brother. I need one of those monsters. Yeah, I know. Looks delicious. Glenn, you were first, man. What the hell's going on? I was joking. Glenn's got that. He sent Marcel a gift for Christmas, and we might use it today. I don't know. We haven't talked.
I'm definitely going to use it because the guy who actually make the sound is on this card, so we have.
That's true. I have a dog or two, but we'll get into it, right? We're not there yet, so let's get into it. All right. So again, we're gonna do 2 podcasts today. First one, UFC Vegas 84 preview. We're going to break down all 12 fights, and then we'll go into the fight options. So I know people want to talk about those new fights for 300 and 299, which, by the way, is like so fucking stacked, that 299 card, like ridiculously stacked. But we'll wait until the next podcast to do it. So just bear with us, guys. Let's go through UFC Vegas 84, and then save your questions for the next podcast right after this. All right, let's get into it, Marcel. UFC Vegas 84, Marcel, what do you think about this card overall, man? First card of the year, what do you think?
Man, I think it's a pretty decent card, man, for Apex cards. You know, I think you got a good main event rematch. You got a co-main event rematch. You know, you have Jim Miller on it, which is fun. I really like the Ricky Simone against Mario Bautista fight. I think that's a really good fight. And also some fun names on the prelims. You know, you got like the old fox Andrei Arlovski, right? But I think there are some fun names. I'm looking forward to Josh Van's fight. I think he's a very good prospect in the UFC.
Oh, yeah.
Tom Nolan is interesting, of course, with his debut against Nikolas Motta. Those are, by the way, the first 2 fights of the evening.
Yeah.
Some fights fell through. I think both women fights fell through. Yeah, I mean, no disrespect, but it weren't the ones I was looking forward to. So, overall, a good card, I think. A very decent card for Apex.
The fights that fall off, I didn't even care about it all personally. You know, was it Nora Dumont who was she fighting again? Was it?
It was oh god, Chasson against Ferreira and Dumont against.
Who was supposed to fight again? I couldn't remember.
I forgot as well. What the hell?
I know the other one because it's on the list still, but like who was
Let me think. Oh come on,
you're supposed to know this shit. You're supposed to be like
Yana Santos.
Yeah. Oh, a big shame there, Marcel. We're not seeing that fight. Anyways, yeah. We still got 12 fights. All right, let's get into it, guys. We'll start with the first fight of the night. Go from there using UFCstats.com. Just the last question. I'll take this question from David before we jump into it. David, what's up, brother? As far as the UFC 300 stuff, let's just wait for the fight announcement podcast right after this. You weren't here a few minutes ago, so you didn't hear us say that, but we'll do UFC Vegas 84, then we'll go into another podcast and do UFC 300 and 299, all that stuff. All right, let's jump into it, Marcel. first fight of the night, as you mentioned, Josh Van, really good prospect here, taking on Felipe Bunes, making his debut in the UFC. Minus 205, Josh Van, plus 175, Felipe Bunes. Marcel, I mean, like, am I speaking for you when I'm picking Josh Van as well? I mean, Josh Van is an absolute stud. I actually am surprised this is the first fight in the card. Like, I don't hate it because I think it's going to be a good fight. But I think Josh Van is the real deal. I really like this kid, guys. You know, coming to the UFC last year on short notice, beating Zhangazhumagulov, that was one of those wins that kind of opened my eyes up. I'm like, oh, man, this guy's a pretty good prospect, obviously coming from Fury. And then Marcel, in his next fight, going in there and beating Kevin Boreas, who's also a good prospect, very impressive. The guy's striking is very good cardio, pressure, good chin. And then with Bunes, like, making his debut here, obviously a guy that was an LFA, guy who's been around a long time, but guy who's been beaten 5 times, 6 times. So I don't really know what to think about this guy. And I don't know, man. I mean, I know he has a lot of experience. He's fought for ACA, he's fought for LFA, but he's coming off a good win. His last fight against that Horiuchi guy. It was a nice win for him to win that LFA belt. But it was over a year ago, so a long way off here coming into this fight. Actually, he was supposed to fight Zhumagulov, and Josh Van took that fight. So that's interesting. They're ending up matching up. I think he's a decent fighter overall. He's been in the sport a long time. He deserves a chance in the UFC, but at the same time, Marcel, 34 years old, making his debut here against a prospect who's only 22, a prospect who I think is the real deal. I honestly think Josh Van, before it's said and done, will fight for the belt in the UFC. He's super young. He's super good. I think he wins easily. Minus 205 is a great line, I think. I really like him here, Marcel. I think he wins probably decision. Bunes is tough. He's pretty hard to finish, but I love Josh Van in the spot, man. What do you think?
It's just crazy, man. I didn't know Josh Van was even 22 when I had my first job. He was a toddler, so that's crazy. Yeah, I mean, Josh Van, he has looked very well. It's very good so far in the UFC. I only think the first round against Kevin Borges, he was in trouble in that fight, but he came back, man, and he did very well in the second and third round and took over. Felipe Bunes, like you said, man, good win against Horiuchi, where he won the title in LFA, but at the same time hasn't fought for a long time. Was supposed to fight Dennis Bondar on this card. Van took the fight on short notice, but that's also probably why it's so low on the card, because they already had Bunes versus Bondar opening the card. Yeah, I'm picking Van as well. I think he can probably even get the finish, but I'm going with a little bit of safe bet here. I also always fuck up with the first fight of the year, so this time I hope I'm right. I'm picking Josh Van here. I think Van wins.
I'd be surprised if we're wrong about this one. I think this guy's the real deal. I think he wins. I think it's the job done. Go ahead.
To be really honest, the first 3 fights, we're going to have the same pick, I think, pretty sure.
I think so, too. I think there's a lot of fights we'll probably have the same pick on this card,
yeah.
Which, again, it is a favorite-heavy card if you look at the odds. There will probably be a few upsets in here. I am picking 1 or 2, I think, but overall, I think a lot of the favorites probably end up winning on this card. So I think this is a good bet, though. I think Van at minus 205. I thought he'd be a higher favorite. I mean, maybe I'm just overlooking Bunes. I hope not, but everything points to Josh Van winning this fight. All right, let's go to the next fight here, Marcel. As you mentioned, another big favorite here, Tom Nolan, making his debut against Nikolas Motta. Odds for this one, minus 330 Nolan, plus 270 on Motta. And, I mean, I'm guessing we're both going to pick Tom Nolan in this fight, and I don't see why we wouldn't pick him. The guy is an impressive prospect, undefeated, big knockout power. We saw that in Contender Series, obviously. And he's facing guy Nikolas Motta, who's very lucky to get another shot in the UFC. That fight against Trey Ogden was not going his way. The fact it was a no contest still bothers me because it was the third round. It was like late in the third round. It wasn't like first or second round. Late in the third round, that should have been a tactical decision win for Ogden. Obviously, the ref fucked up. Was it Chris Tione? Mike Beltran.
Probably.
It was Mike Beltran. Yeah, I thought it was Tione.
No, it was Chris. We always blame Chris. It was Chris Tione.
It was Mike Beltran. And Mike's a great ref, but he fucked up that one. And, it should have been a loss for Nicholas.
Everybody hates Chris.
I'm surprised he's getting another contract, though, honestly. I'm really surprised by it. Like, he does have that win over Deanna Belbita's boyfriend, the Cameron Van Camp guy. So he has the win over that guy, but that guy's not in the UFC anymore. And the other two losses, the Miller and Torres lost, brutal knockout losses. Ogden submitted him before he got overturned. I just haven't been impressed with Nikolas Motta at all in the UFC. Tom Nolan is a young prospect coming in here with a great record, with a nice pedigree here, undefeated record. big power. I think he knocks on Nikolas Valdemar. So I think there's a reason he's a big favorite here. I think the odds makers know what's going on. The matchmakers are setting him up with a winnable fight. The guy is very talented. He's got a lot of advantage in this fight. Much younger, huge for this division. 6'3", longer reach, southpaw stance, undefeated record. Everything points to Tom Nolan winning. The only thing that he doesn't have is the experience in the UFC, and I'm not too worried about it in this fight. I think he wins by knockout, probably like first round. What do you think, man?
Yeah, man, I'm picking Nolan here as well. You know, I mean, the very good Dana White fight. He knocked out Bogdan Grad, right?
Yep.
Was very. I think it was the very first episode of this of last season.
I think so.
Yeah, he made a good. He looked good there, and Motta has. Yeah, I think he's decent, you know, but I feel like he fought guys that he couldn't match with, you know. He got knocked out against Manuel Torres, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I always switch Torres and Padilla for some reason. I don't know why. That's why I asked to be sure. Manuel Torres, and he also got knocked out by Jim Miller. I mean, Jim Miller is still is legendary fighter in my opinion in the UFC, but then still, I mean, Jim Miller was on pretty much. How do you say that? Jim Miller is great, but if you cannot get past Jim Miller, I don't see you cracking any top guys at all. You know what I mean? And yeah, I like Motta a lot, but I don't think he's going to win. So for me, it's Nolan as well here. I think he probably stops Motta first or second round.
Yeah, I think he knocks him out. Probably sends him packing to the UFC. Just get some comments here. I mean, I obviously agree with Ray here. I think this would be Motta's last fight. I've said that for like the last 3 fights. He keeps getting other chances, but he must be thanking Mike Beltran to get one more fight. Really, I mean, he's got lucky because it was a no contest. Hey, Hype, what's up, brother? Glad to have you here, man. Motta fought Jim Miller for 10K. That's what, like, yeah, I mean, he's on a cheap contract. He's probably making more now. He's probably on a 20K contract or something, but probably nothing special. Vartanian, and we're still waiting to hear with this guy. He should be there though. Yeah. Please convince me an underdog or two because right now I'm all the favorites. I have a dog. But again, Marcel's got the dog button ready. Yeah, especially I like mother fluffers. I like that too.
I don't have a dog, but I got the barking.
You got the barking? Good. All right, let's go to the next fight. Right now it is. Well, I mean, Marcel, like this is a fight that, you know, let's be honest, this fight probably shouldn't even be sanctioned. We got Gene Silva taking on Westin Wilson. Gene Silva's the biggest favorite in the card. Yeah, that's Gene Silva, but I mean, he's not a dog here. Minus 900, biggest favorite in the card. Westin Wilson plus 600. Gene Silva knocks him out in the first round. What do you think?
I mean, that what makes most sense, or a submission, you know, but either a finish, you know what I mean? I think Gene Silva wins as well. I mean, Westin Wilson, he got in the UFC short notice. He fought Brito last time, got stopped as well in the first round. Yeah, I'm taking Gene Silva here as well. I would be surprised. Is it Gene Silva or is it John Silva?
I mean, it may be.
I also don't know. That's why I'm asking.
I always thought it was Gene, but if it's John, then there you go. So
it's also Adam Martin, right?
Yeah, I know, right? Technically my last name is French, I think, but yeah, no, I'm pretty sure Silva wins. Yeah, I mean, the guy's just on a roll. He's good, right? He's really good. I mean, he looked great in that fighting Contender, and he's fighting a guy in Wilson who shouldn't be in the UFC really. By the way, there was the other guy supposed to fight first, Gabriel Santos. Yeah, I loved him in that fight too. That would have been his first win, I think, in the UFC.
The best 0-2 guy in the UFC, right?
Yeah. Like I'll give Wilson credit, man. Like I never expect him to make the UFC, and he has a good ground game. We'll give him that, Marcel. His submissions are nice, but very hittable, very beatable. He's been knocked out and finished so many times. He's going to get finished here again. Yeah, minus 900. The odds suck, but they're pretty like reasonable when you think about it, because it's a fight that there's not many paths for Westin to win this fight. Let's be honest. He's a striker who has decent ground game, I guess, but facing a guy with big power, and I'm with this. I think it's a round one knockout. mustache is steezy. I got to shave though the rest of it, man. I like I said, new look for the new year. And hey, man, Travis Kelce, when he landed Taylor Swift, he had that mustache. So now I got the mustache going.
I don't even know what steezy means. So
I thought it said sleazy first. I'm like, yeah, it's like a porn star thing, but this is steezy. I'm assuming. Let me check the Urban Dictionary. It's got to be a. Let me check here.
What does it mean?
I think it says it's cool, so that's good. There we go.
Nice,
I appreciate that, man. Thank you, brother. I appreciate that. I'm not model, into all the new words these kids use these days, so I'm old now, right? But
yeah, me too.
All right, let's go to the next fight. We got Farid Basharat taking on Taylor Lapilus. This is a good fight. I'm a little surprised he's buried on the prelims. Like, are you a little surprised by that? Because Farid's undefeated. But yeah, I mean, I said that for the Josh Van fight too. This card's pretty good. I mean, there's some good matchups, not big names, but good matchups.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, this fight, Farid Basharat, another big favorite, minus 300. Taylor Lapilus plus 250. I mean, I'm assuming you have the same pick here again, right? Like, I like Taylor Lapilus. I think he's a good prospect, double impact. He's been really solid in the UFC over the years, 4-1. He looked pretty good against the Cal Longman guy, not amazing, but decent. But he got taken down a couple times, and also, like, I think actually all 4 of his fights in the UFC, I'm checking right now, he's been taken down, and that worries me against a guy like Farid Basharat, who can take you down and who can control you, who can grind you, and who can submit you. Farid and his brother Javid are both very good prospects. I think they're both studs, and I think Farid wins this fight, improves his record 12-0. I like Taylor Lapilus. I want to think he's a live dog here, but not really, Marcel. I think he gets taken down, grinded out, controlled, and he loses the decision. So Basharat decision, minus 300. I think he wins. What do you think?
I think it will be a competitive fight, but the thing is, like, I think if Kalen Loughran can take down Taylor Lapilus, I'm pretty sure that Farid Basharat can take him down as well, And I think I don't even think that Basharat will do a lot of damage, but I think ground control and a lot of takedowns. I think Taylor Lapilus will be able to stand up, but I think Farid takes him down again. You know what I mean? So that's pretty much how it will be. Taylor will try to keep it standing, and Farid will try to take it to the ground. And I think he will succeed 9 out of 10 times. So for me, I think there's a chance for Taylor if he clocks him somewhere, in the fight. But on the other hand, I'm gonna go with Basharat, man. It's a much safer pick here. Decision for Farid Basharat, and pretty much for the same reason why you picked him.
Yeah, he's a safe pick. I'm just saying, like, of the 4 fighters so far we picked, I think he's the one that maybe there could be an upset, but I don't think so at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Couple comments here. Yeah, I think Bash, sub decision. That's a probably good double chance. Yeah, Lapilus is very experienced. He's a good fighter, man. He's really good. I mean, again, I want to think he's got a somewhat of a chance here. Don't bet. So I don't know what the odds were. I just saw them earlier today. I was doing it. Farid Open is the favorite. I think it was like the same actually, something similar. We guys don't think it happens if both Basharat brothers fight, crack the top 5 around the same time would be awkward. I mean, they're both good. That'd be crazy if one day they ended up fighting for the belt. They're both so good that they ended up fighting for the belt, but it won't happen. I mean, sport, there's too many good fighters in the sport, man. Especially in this division.
One guy will go up or go down. Pretty much go up. There's no way they're going to fight each other.
Who's the better fighter? You think Javid?
I think Javid is further in his career than Farid. You know what I mean? But I think Farid can become better than Javid is. But I think both guys are still learning as they fight. They are still not in their prime both, I think. So the thing is, I think Javid is a little bit ahead of Farid, but I think that Farid can be better than Javid.
That's fair. All right, let's go to the next fight here, guys. We got Marcus McGhee taking on Gaston Bolanos. McGhee, another big favorite, minus 260, plus 220 Bolanos.
Yeah, rightly so, I think.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, here's the again, I know McGhee's a little bit an older prospect. For the 135 division, he's 33. It's funny, right? As we get older, Marshall, these guys are all younger than us now, but I still have to say he's an older guy for the division because it is a division that typically has the younger guys at the top, but he's really good. I mean, we've seen it in the UFC so far: 2 straight wins, two bonuses, big power, good submissions. Trains at a great camp, training with Sean O'Malley and those guys. I mean, he's just a good fighter, man. And Bolanos, man, I gotta be honest, Marcel, I wasn't too impressed with his debut against Darren Phillips. I know he won the fight. Obviously, I mean, I thought he'd win that fight, but I expected a bit more. And I think the fact he didn't finish that guy is a little concerning, to be honest with you. That's a fight guy should finish. And then obviously, his record, it's not the best considering he came from Bellator, really 7-3. That's not amazing. A guy who's been, upset a couple times, Marcel, in Bellator, quite frankly. He's lost a few fights where he was a favorite. So minus 1,100 against Daniel Scary Carey, and he lost. So a guy that I don't trust, really, to be honest with you. I think McGhee finishes him. I'm looking at Bolanos' record. He's been submitted twice. McGhee actually does have submissions on his resume. He's not just a knockout artist. I'll take him by submission, Marcel. Let me take him by submission. I think he drops him and then submits him. I think it'll look like the Jordan Newsom fight. What do you think, man?
That's the exact same thing. So
really?
Yeah. Drop him and submit.
Boring podcast today. Holy shit, man.
Club and sub, right?
Club and sub, yeah.
Yeah,
I think so too, right? Yeah. I mean, I think that's what happens here. The guy's, like I said, he's been submitted a couple times. I don't think he's got a great ground game, and I think that's what happens here. We got our boy Pato. Why are you leaning Bolanos? Like, what do you like about him in this spot? I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just curious. McGhee sub, yeah. I think we're on the same. Like, look, these guys in the chat are the same thing as us, Marcel. So curious to see what the odds are on that. I think it's a sneaky good pick. That club and sub. We're all calling it. He drops him and then he grabs his neck and rear naked choke, Marcel. That's what you're thinking. Rear naked guillotine.
Guillotine, I'd say.
Drop him and guillotine. Yeah. All right. Let's go to the next fight. This is a welterweight bout here, and if I'm not mistaken, Matthew Semelsberger is taking the fight at short notice against Preston Parsons. Am I correct about that, Marcel? He filled in, right?
Parsons was supposed to fight Basil Hafez.
There we go. I like Hafez in that spot. Now, as far as this fight goes, the odds are pretty close. Minus 130 for Matt Semelsberger, plus 110 for Preston Parsons. What do you think about this? I'll start with you on this one.
This is one of the most tough fights to pick on the card, in my opinion. If you look at Preston Parsons, he had to debut against Daniel Rodriguez. I think that was that was a short notice, if I remember correctly. I'm not 100% sure. Then he got the Evan Aldo win, but Aldo took that one on short notice, and the Giles win was a split decision, was a close fight. So the thing with Semelsberger is he's fun to watch, but he's inconsistent. You know what I mean? If you look at Semelsberger, for example, he got those quick finishes against Jason Witt and Martin Sano. Against Jake Matthews, he knocked him down every round, remember? But then he fought Jeremiah Wells. He did more damage, but Jeremiah was more dominant on the ground, And I guess Oros Medic, he looked great, man, in the first round. He looked great, and then he got knocked out, in the third round. How many knockdowns does the dude have? Like 10 in 7 fights?
I think he has 10. I counted it the other day. I'll count it right again, just because he asked that. I think it was 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, 10. And he's been dropped once in his last fight.
It's crazy, It
is.
You have so many knockdowns. The thing is, like, I think the longer the fight goes, I prefer Parsons, but I think Semelsberger can finish Parsons, man. So I'm taking a gamble with Semelsberger knocking him out in the first round, but I'm not sure. I'm far from sure, actually.
Yeah. I mean, I agree. I think this is one of the ones that kind of can go either way. And I mean, that's why the odds are close. They're like one of the only fights with close odds on the card so far, anyways. And also, he took it on short notice too. I think that's the other thing, right? I like Semelsberger though. I mean, like the guy's got 10 fights now in the UFC. This is his 10th fight. The experience, I think, is the difference for me. Parsons only has like 3 fights. He is a good wrestler. We've seen that. He beat the Evan Elder guy, take him down. Although that guy was in the wrong weight class at the time. Trevor Giles' fight was not too impressive, but I mean, it was a split decision. He could have won the fight. The Dan Rodriguez fight was bad. Just got destroyed, although again it was short notice debut. I just don't trust Semelsberger, man. That's the problem, right? Like, and I think you're the same way. Like, despite 10 knockdowns, he's only 5-4 in the UFC. So he drops guys, but he doesn't finish them a lot of the time. Like, he's able to, or they're able to come back and stay in the fight and beat him. So, that fight with Jeremiah Wells also worries me, Marcel, where he just kept getting taken down. He dropped him twice, but kept getting taken down.
Yeah.
I just don't know if Parsons is like as tough and durable as those other guys, like a Jeremiah Wells or Eros Medic even, or some of these other guys that he's fought. So, yeah, I mean, I'm gonna lean towards Samurai the Jedi just because of the power. I think he'll probably knock out Parsons, but again, Marcel, like if this guy goes and drops Parsons and Parsons survives in the first round or something, and he comes back and wins the decision, I'm going to be really pissed at myself for betting on it because I'll know I should have known better, knowing the guy's history. So I'll take Semelsberger by knockout, but it's not a fight I'm like super like confident in, so I'll pass on the bet and stuff like that. I think you agree with that, eh?
Yeah, definitely.
Couple comments. What do you think Marcus is ceiling is as a prospect? 33. I like him. He's turning 34 this year, which is crazy. I don't, like it's hard to call a guy that age a prospect. That's like calling me or Marcel a prospect, to be honest with you. I think he's good though. It's just again that the 135 is so stacked. Like even on this card, we've already named like a bunch of guys for 135. They're good. So very tough to pick here. Semi most untrustworthy fighter. That's the thing. Can you trust him with your money? Not really. Craig, what's up, brother? Glad to have you in the chat, man. Bros allergic to finish after a knockdown. Sure seems like it. I see Sammy at the weigh-ins. Yeah, he never. You know what? He never really looks good at the weigh-ins. I'm gonna say that. I don't think he's a guy that like shows off well on the scale, but he's a fighter. He's a good fighter. So it's just he's not the best guy to like on the scale. Although, like you said, he did take on short notice, so you have to see if he makes weight. All right, go to the next fight.
I got to say, Semelsberger is smart, because he will always get the new photo shoot from the UFC because he always shows up with a different hairstyle.
Different hairstyle. I think he rocks the mustache sometimes as well, if I'm not mistaken, or a beard. Yeah. So he's one of those guys that comes in with, like you said, a different haircut, different facial hair. But as far as the body goes, like I don't think he's a guy that looks like ripped ever, if that makes sense. Like he looks kind of just normal, but he's got power in his hands, man. That's for sure. All right, this fight, I think this is the last prelim, right? Andrei Arlovski, Waldo's Cortes-Acosta. Okay, so 5-fight main card, 7-fight prelims. Waldo's a huge favorite. minus 600. Holy shit! Now it's even bigger. minus 600 plus 425 on Andrei. I mean, I don't see how Andrei wins this fight. I mean, I know he's got obviously the more experienced guys, and he's a guy who's a legend, but again, he's turning 45 this year. Holy shit! I mean, holy fuck, bro. He's turning 45 next month, bro.
Extreme red light. His last fight against Dontel Mays.
That's the thing. Dontel Mays is like not very good. Like, let's be honest. And
I was shocked.
Brutally knocked out. Actually, you know what? He wasn't doing bad. That's the thing. Like,
no, that's true.
Technically, he's still a good boxer, and he's smart, right? He's a smart guy. All that experience, right? What does he have? Like 30 UFC fights? It's insane. But again, 45 years old, Marcel. I'm not picking a guy who's turning 45 in 2 weeks. No fucking way. Mm-hmm. And I know Salsa Boy, he had that loss to De Lima. Again, that's an older guy. He's 40. Didn't look good in that fight, but he bounced back nicely against the Dreschke guy. That was his best performance. And overall, I think he's looked good in the UFC. Good boxing, as we know. He's pretty tough. He hasn't been finished. There's no reason not to pick Waldo or Cortes-Acosta here. I mean, if you don't want to lay minus 600 on the heavyweight, I'd understand that. But as far as a pure pick goes, he is the pick. There's no doubt. I think he knocks out Arlovski. And, Marcel, if it's bad, I mean, it could be Arlovski's last fight. It's possible. I'm going to take Waldo by knockout, and I'll say first or second round. What do you think?
I mean, if Waldo wants to win, he likely has to win by knockout, I think, because, listen, man, you're more convinced on Waldo than I am, to be really honest. I think he looked good against Lucas Dreschke last time out, But before that, he got those wins against Chase Sherman and against Jared Vandeira. I think those weren't really impressive. Yeah, Chase Sherman was okay, but the Vandeira fight wasn't really impressive, in my opinion, And the Lima fight was really bad, in my opinion, Arlovski, listen, man, great career, legend of the sport, in my opinion, should be in the UFC Hall of Fame, but I don't see it anymore. And Waldo is younger, is more hungry to get back in the top 15 for the first time. I got to go with Waldo here. I'm going with round 1 decision for Waldo. Okay, round 1 KO for Waldo. I think that makes the most sense, and I'm going to do that.
Yeah, no, I think so too, Marcel. I think you're right about that one. So we have the same pick in that fight. All right, now we go on to the main card. Oh, we get a couple of comments, actually, guys. Both guys did lose to De Lima, who, I mean, is pretty good other than that Lewis fight. That was bad, but he's not bad, actually. Costa KO, but the line's criminal. I know. That Vandeira fight was not that impressive. I want to say Jared's like heavyweight now or middleweight. Like, he's lost so much weight, Jared Vandeira.
Yeah, he looked good, man. He looks good.
He won his last fight or no? Did he lose again? I can't remember.
I don't know what he did, but I mean, the pictures I see from him, he looks a lot better shape than he was in the UFC.
Yeah, I gotta check though, because I know he came back and fought in some other promotion. He lost. He lost in LXF to that Chuck Campbell guy. That's the guy that Modestas fought in Cage Warriors.
Yeah.
Crazy how Arlovski's still fighting. I know it's crazy. Dude, he's 45. I mean, there's a lot of people that are probably fans of the sport that, are, like you said, could be his son easily. I think
Hall of Famer, right?
By the way. 100% Hall of Famer. I mean, former champion, all the fights he's had, he's definitely a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about that. All right, let's go to the next fight here. We got the main card opening up. It is Phil Hawes against Bruno Ferreira. Odds for this one. This is close to -125 Bruno, +105 Phil Hawes. Give me your thoughts on this one, Marcel. What do you think?
Actually, people will say this is an easy pick, but I don't think it's an easy pick at all. The problem is you just can't trust Phil Hawes' chin. That's the whole problem here. Because I think if it comes to the wrestling side, I think he can make it work. But I'm afraid that Bruno's somehow gonna land on that chin of Phil Hawes, and it's night. You know what I mean? We saw Bruno Ferreira getting knocked out against Nursultan Rudziboyev last time out. Before that, he knocked out RoboCop. And he got that win on the Contender Series, where he also got a quick finish against Leon Aliou, who's now on Cage Warriors, I think. Yeah, man, Phil Hawes. He started well in the UFC, right? With 3 wins, two wins against a knockout against Malkoun, a decision against Imavov, and a decision against Dawkins. But since then, only got a win over Deron Win. Yeah, I gotta go with Bruno Ferreira here. Although I'm not convinced, as people are. I see a lot of people picking blindly Bruno Ferreira, but I gotta go with Ferreira, man. For the simple reason that I don't trust Phil Hawes' chin. So Bruno Ferreira for me by knockout.
I agree. I mean, I feel the same way. Just because, I think Phil Hawes, man, he's definitely got the skill. There's no doubt, right? Mm-hmm. His striking is really good. I think he still lives in Thailand, or he was for a while, right? And technically, he's a phenomenal striker. I really enjoy watching him strike. He's just very good, but the chin is terrible. It's one of the worst chins in the UFC. Look at those fights, like the Chris Curtis fight. Piecing him up, Marcel gets destroyed at the end, right? So it's hard to trust him. But then you look at a fight like the Deron Win fight, it was fucking impressive as hell, right? But again, the last 2 fights getting just brutally knocked out by Delize and Alex Karov. I understand they're good fighters, but it's not even about how good these guys are. He just gets touched and he's done. So you can't trust him. You just can't trust him. But again, he's got power. He's got some wrestling too. I mean, he's just a good fighter, but the chin is terrible. And then Ferreira is just, again, he's got power, but his chin didn't look very good in his last fight either, to be honest with you. I think there's a battle of glass cannons. I don't think either guy is amazing. I don't think they're bad, but I think they're both flawed, So I think the odds are where they should be, because I think Phil Hawes could win the fight. I'm not going to bet on Ferreira, but I have to pick him by knockout just because I mean, I'm like everyone else. I'm taking Phil Hawes' chin. You can't pick it. You just can't pick him because of that chin. You can't. But he could easily win too because he's a good fighter at the same time. He's a good fighter with a bad chin. That's the thing about the sport, right? You have all the skill in the world, but if you don't have, it's like, Marcel, if you're like a warrior, right? Like they used to fight in a battle, right? You can go in there and you could have, a good sword, for instance, but if you don't have a shield to back it up, then you're going to lose, right? That's the problem. And that's the problem with Hawes. He doesn't have that last line of defense. A couple of comments here. Jones, Aspinall, Zero Legends when he finished Arlovski. Yeah, that wasn't a great comment, but I mean, at the same time, he beat a diminished Arlovski. Phil's chin is suspect. Yeah, I agree. Under 1.5. I think so. That probably makes sense. I don't think this fight will go the distance. First, sometimes loses to Hawes after knocking out RoboCop. I can't understand the sport. I mean, that's the thing, though. We talk about this all the time. There's just random upsets sometimes. And that was, I thought RoboCop would absolutely win that fight, and he got caught. RoboCop's chin is not amazing.
I called that one. I called that one.
You did fucking call that one. I'll give you
it was just luck. I
know. This fight's not going the distance, Glenn. Bruno's cardio is probably not very good either. I like the Hulk. Only lost the future champion, Sultan. You like their Sultan there. Hot chocolate vibes. Who's hot? Oh, Dane Roberts. Yeah, a little bit. Zach Cummings. Zach Hawes easy win. I hope it's the real Zach Cummings. That'd be awesome. No hype as well. Nick didn't have. What is his nickname for? Did he change it or something?
I think it was Megatron once.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah. It's Hawes and Malkoun rematch. That was crazy. It was like 18 seconds or something. Deron Wayne, I think he got released, right? Didn't he?
Yeah.
Just going to take the fight ending KO. Yeah, I think so too. All right, let's go to the next fight here. We got Ricky Simone taking on Mario Bautista. I'm actually curious to hear your thoughts on this fight, Marcel.
I wanted you to go first on this one.
Well, hit the button. Here's my first dog in the card. Mario Bautista. He's my first dog in the card. The odds, I should say them. Minus 175, Ricky Simón, plus 150, Mario Bautista. I'm taking Bautista, Marcel. I'm taking a shot on this guy. I like him. I think he's a good prospect, man. And like 5 straight wins. I know the last fight with Blackshear was close, but Blackshear is actually a pretty good fighter. But yeah, I mean his career's been pretty solid in UFC 72. The loss to Sandhagen in his debut, no shame in that. The Trevin Jones fight, that's actually upside. I did pick at the time. And, he got brutally knocked out in that one, but it's bounced back really nicely. I understand the opposition hasn't been great. I agree with that, but it's been impressive the way he's been finishing these guys. And the last fight obviously showed a full skill set. Another guy that trains with really good camp. And with Ricky Simón, Marcel, good fighter, obviously. He's 8-3 in the UFC, but the 2 losses by knockout worry me, and I don't know. I mean, I'm not sure where he is now. He just looked so fucking bad in his last fight. And I understand he looked great before that. Maybe I'm forgetting how good he has been in the UFC at times, but that last fight was just such a bad look in my opinion. I understand it was Song Yadong, good fighter, but I don't know, man. I like Bautista. I was going to pick him against Cody Garbrandt, and I've been looking for a spot to pick him. And I got to be honest, like I'm surprised that he's a plus 150 dog here. I don't see the fight like this at all. I think Bautista is going to win this fight. I'm going to take him to win a decision here, Marcel. Maybe a knockout, but probably a decision. Plus 150. Give me the dog. That's my first dog in the card. What do you think, man?
I think we have our first consensus dog.
Oh my God, here we go, baby. Here we go.
Yeah, I think so, man. I think it's not gonna lie, I think it will be a close fight. I think they're very competitive with each other, But yeah, I feel like the Bautista is still like growing, in his MMA game. And I feel like Ricky Simón is still good, but is a little bit more stagnant than Bautista is, And I think this is a fight where we're going to see if Bautista can really like match with these top 15 guys, And I think he can, I'm also on Bautista's side. I think it will be a close fight, go with a decision as well. So, yeah, we have our first consensus dog of the year, and it's Mario Bautista.
Oh, there we go. Let's get some comments here. The strength of schedule is crap. I don't think it was crap, but obviously I would agree that Simone's is a little better. I think that's fair to say. You like Bautista too. There you go. Now post Natalie Sess. Oh my God, that's
Jesus. You put that on the screen.
Jeez. I really hope they push Mario. I like Mario, dude. He's good. Over in coin flip split decision. Yeah, it would probably be competitive. I mean, there's no doubt. I'm surprised he's plus 150. I don't see the fight being like that at all. I could see why someone's a favorite, but at the same time, like I feel like Bautista, personally, Marcel, I would actually favor Bautista a little bit, like minus 130 or something like that. Like a competitive fight, but I think he should be favored. The momentum is on his side, and in a close fight like that, I like the momentum. So let's go with it. Let's go to the next fight here. We got Jim Miller taking on Gabriel Benitez Mowgli, and this one's interesting too. Gabriel, I looked at the opening. I'll say Benitez opened as a slight favorite. Now the line's kind of flipped, and Miller's minus 120, Benitez plus 100. So it's still really close odds. What do you think about this one, man? You got two like the older guys in the division going at each other. What do you think?
Yeah, man, it's an interesting fight. I think this fight was booked before. This was actually supposed to happen last year. I think Benitez pulled out back then, and Hernandez took the fight on short notice, and he actually beat Jim Miller. Yeah, Jim Miller won 4 of his last 5 fights, man. He only lost that fight, which was supposed to be against Benitez, against Alexander Hernandez. But I think he has looked good, man, as of lately. And he also said, like, he feels a lot better than a couple of years ago when he had the Lyme disease, right? And now we can handle it a little bit better. And it's actually crazy. It's his 43rd UFC fight, I think, man. It's actually crazy. He's 40. He said he wanted to fight 45 times in the UFC. Not probably. If he sticks around after UFC 300, maybe going to happen, But I don't know. I think he wanted to stop after UFC 300, but maybe he thinks twice. I don't know. If you look at Gabriel Benitez wins against everybody I expect him to win against, and he loses against everybody I expect him to lose against. He won against Sideshow Bob in his last fight. Good win for him, but somebody I expect him to beat. I'm picking Jim Miller here all day, man, to be honest. I think Jim Miller wins this fight. I'd be surprised if he doesn't. I think Jim Miller wins. I'm going even with a submission, man. I think Jim subs him in the second round.
Yeah, I've been thinking of this one. I'll be honest. My first initial thought was Benitez, just because like I want to fade Miller, right? He's age 40, right? I don't want to pick him. He's actually turning 41 this year, but at the same time, like he's still looking good, man. I mean, he's actually finishing guys in like brutal fashion, like really impressive. His last like 9 wins have come by finish. So I mean, he's definitely a guy, or 8 wins, I should say, have been finishes. So he's a guy that can finish you. And with Benitez, like again, a dangerous guy in that first round, but other than that, he's a guy that's very beatable. And like you said, he's been submitted before. He's been knocked out. Don't really trust him completely. I don't love Miller because of the age here, so I'm gonna pass personally. I could see him getting finished. I could see him doing one of those fights where you're like, oh shit, he finally showed his age. But at the same time, like due to the experience, like and due to the recent form where he's actually looked pretty good, I'm gonna pick him. I'll pick Jim Miller. I think the odds also shifting are making me pick him too. Like if they were going the other way, I'd probably be like, all right, maybe these people got it right. But the fact that it's going towards him, I think people that are betting on Miller, they probably know something here. So I'll take Miller by stoppage. I don't think this fight goes 3 rounds. I think that's the better bet. I don't think this fight's going to 3 rounds. Someone's getting finished in this fight. I'll take Miller, Marcel. I'll probably take him by knockout. I think get the job done here. So we have the same pick in this one. All right, we only have two fights left. Wow. Okay, so we've gone through this card pretty fast. They're both rematches, and the first one is Manel Kape against Nikolas at flyweight. This is the co-main event, and right now Kape minus 255, Nikolas plus 215. And you know, Marcel, the first time these guys fought, I picked Kape to win, and I thought he won the fight. I actually thought he won that fight. It was a close fight, but I thought he won. The judges went with Nikolas. Now it's the rematch, 3 years later, and I'm going to pick Kape again. I don't know. I don't really trust Nikolas right now. The chin looked really concerning in that last fight. That knock, he's been knocked a couple times. Kape is a guy who can crack. I know Kape is coming off a tough fight in his last fight against Felipe dos Santos, a fight that was probably a little tougher than people thought, but the guy can definitely crack. And you know, I still think he's a guy that's going to fight for the belt. Like, I think he's really good. Nikolas had a nice little win streak going there. I think it ends again here, or it ended his last fight, but you know what I mean? Like I think he gets another loss. I got Manel Kape in the rematch, Marcel. I don't love the odds, though. That's the thing, right? A guy who's lost already to this guy, it shouldn't be probably minus 255. That's a little high, I think. So I'm picking him. I just wish the odds were lower, but I'll take Kape. I'll take him by knockout. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm also picking Manel Kape. I actually picked Nikolas in the first fight, but I thought it was close and could have been Kape's way as well, you know. So yeah, I'm picking Kape here as well. I think he's on a good roll in the division. Nikolas is very decent, man, I think, but he's like the kind of guy who is like, he's not really spectacular, you know. I think he's decent, but not spectacular. And Kape has something spectacular, but sometimes that works against him, you know what I mean? Yeah, picking Kape, I don't know if I'm going with a finish here, man. It might be a decision I'm going with. Going with an early finish or a late or a decision. I don't think it will be ended late. I think we see a lot of probably more grappling kind of fight if it goes to the later rounds, you know. I'm going with Kape decision. Yeah.
There we go. All right. We got the last fight here, guys. Main event time. Another rematch. Magomed Ankalaev taking on Johnny Walker. They fought back in October. Johnny Walker was in the desert, and the fight got stopped by that ref, or that doctor. Remember that doctor? Like I hope that guy never does a fight again in the UFC because he was so fucking stupid. I remember we freaked out in there, but we got the rematch going 3 months later, 5 rounds this time. By the way, the odds I should have mentioned them. Minus 450 plus 350. I think they're the same as last time. I could be wrong, but I think they're the same. I mean, the fight doesn't change for me at all. I'm still picking Ankalaev, and he was dominating the fight before he pulled a fucking Peter Yan and landed the illegal knee bonehead move of the century.
It's lucky the referee said it as an unintentional fall.
Bro, I gotta be honest. Like, I think it should have been a DQ. I really do, because how was it not intentional? I mean, he clearly was trying to knee him in the head. It wasn't like one of those ones where it was in like transition, you know, like this was, the guy was like on the ground. Everyone knew he was. I don't see the fight going any other way. I think Ankalaev probably gets him to the ground again, gets to the fence, tires out Walker, and finishes him this time. He has 5 rounds to finish, so I think he gets the job done. Johnny's a good striker, but I still don't trust his cardio. I don't trust his wrestling. Ankalaev knockout. The odds are they stock -450, but I think he wins. So I take him inside the distance. I think that's a good way to get better odds. What do you think, man?
If Magomed doesn't fuck up again, he will win the fight, man. I mean, and the UFC is praying so hard that Johnny wins here. But I mean, I want to see Magomed win because I think he's the best fighter in the division. That's my opinion. I want to see him fight Alex Pereira, and I know the UFC wants to keep him far away as hell from Alex Pereira. So yeah, Ankalaev for me. I actually think he knocks out Johnny Walker in the first round. I think he counter shots him with something, and I think he clocks him and he knocks him out in the first round.
Yeah, I don't see it going either way. A couple of comments here. You like Kape? There you go. Ankalaev. Does anyone like Walker in this fight? Does anyone?
A lot of people actually do. I did a poll on my Instagram channel. I think 65% went with Walker. So
I guess they just don't like Ankalaev or something.
Yeah, that's possible.
Right? I don't see. Like, he's got a chance in the first round, I would say.
That's it. He can flash knockout him. He got a puncher's chance pretty much.
Johnny's his last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so he's 7-4 in the UFC with 6 first-round knockouts. If I'm not mistaken. Yeah,
and a submission over Kuchelaba probably. Yeah.
I should say, sorry, first-round finishes. I should say, yeah. I didn't just mean knockout, but yeah, at 5 first-round knockouts, 1 first-round submission, and then 1 decision over Anthony Smith. That's the fight where Smith was like, "You're trying to hurt my family," and he's like, "Huh?" That was the fight. He's always in these fucking weird ass fights, eh?
Yeah, true. He also he lost to Santos, with that horrible decision. Yeah.
Can you believe it's almost been 5 years since he lost to Corey Anderson? Because I remember that fight, and I was shocked at the time. And it's good for him to bounce back from it. But again, I don't like this matchup. This is not a fight I think he's going to win, man. I think Ankalaev should be fighting for the belt right now, to be honest with you. The UFC just doesn't like the guy. So
it's so stupid, man, because, I mean, they're trying everything to keep Magomed away from... Yeah.
Bro,
I don't understand it.
He talked shit against the UFC after that fight with Jan. He was like, you guys, didn't he say like you hired the judges to screw me or something like that? Was he saying something?
Possible, yeah, something.
It was fucked, yeah. And that fight with Jan, I actually think I scored it for Ankalaev, if I'm not mistaken. So
I did. I think I scored it. I scored it 3-2, and with 1 round at 10-8 even. So
yeah. I thought he should have won. All right, a couple comments here. Manel become a flyweight title challenger. Yeah, I mean, I think he's already there.
It's very possible, man. But you have Pantoja as the champion. You got the winner of Albazi Moreno likely fights for a title next. They're definitely gonna push Mokaev if he wins against Perez. If he wins against Perez, that is. But Manel is. Does Dana say that he's in the mix? So yeah, he definitely is if he wins.
He's in the mix. Marcus is up, brother. Glad to have you here, man, and I'm glad you're enjoying the show. And do this one with Krylov? I don't know. I mean, it seems like he's disappeared, and he's a guy that no one talks about in this division now. You know what's going on with this guy?
They probably give him Ankalaev if Ankalaev wins against Walker.
Yeah, you think so?
The UFC's not going to give Ankalaev a title shot, man. They prefer to give it to Izzy, I think,
Yeah. So. UFC prefers English-speaking champs, like it or not. Yeah. Krylov's on a roll. Has been booked since after he beat Span last year. I know. I'm with you. All right. I think we're good there. So, yeah, I mean, again, me and Marcel and I should say, we don't talk about these fights beforehand. We don't talk about these fights before, Marcel. And I never know who you're going to pick. We only had one different pick, though. Or no, we had the same picks, actually. We had the same picks today. And one consensus dog. Hit the button. Mario Bautista. That's our consensus dog of the week. The rest of them are all favorites that we picked. So take it as you will. I was going to say, I got to go back to last week. We listen to every week of the podcast and figure out what our consensus dog record was. I think it's pretty good. I think
that's pretty good. Yeah,
I think it's pretty good.
Dog record is good.
Yeah, I like when we have 2 though. But yeah, I mean, yeah. And to answer your question, yeah, I mean, you asked me what dogs we're taking. That was the one. There's a couple other guys I think could win as a dog. Like I think Benitez could. He's a small
Parsons.
dog. Yeah, he could too. And Hawes,
yeah.
But these other guys like Josh Finn, Tom Nolan, Ankalaev, they should all win. Waldo. Anyways, let's get out of here, Marcel. So yeah, we did the podcast. We're gonna do another one here, guys. A really short one. We're gonna do finance. We'll talk about UFC 300, UFC 299. Marcel, anything you want to say before we get out of here, man?
let's go to the other podcast. Thanks for watching, guys.
Yeah, let's do it. So like, share, subscribe, guys. Smash that like button, share, subscribe, and we'll see you on the other side. We're going to jump into the next podcast, and I'll tweet out the link. Peace.